Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're focusing on something pretty major. The election of the new Pope, Leo XIV.
Yeah, and our source for this is a detailed report from ITV News. It covers the event in Rome, but also, the reactions from all over.
Exactly. So our mission here, for you listening, is to really unpack this, understand the significance, get to know Pope Leo XIV's theory a bit, and look at the initial responses and, well, what lies ahead.
Right.
Okay, so ITV sets the scene, St. Peter's Square, white smoke coming from the Sistine Chapel chimney. I mean, that image.
Oh, it's iconic, isn't it? That white smoke means, okay, we have a pope. And the report really captures that that sense of anticipation in the crowd, people from everywhere waiting.
And then the announcement comes, habeas papam, we have a pope, and he will be known as Pope Leo XIV. So traditional.
And then the reveal. Robert Francis Prevost, born in Chicago 69 years ago.
First American pope. That's genuinely historic.
It absolutely is. And the report notes he speaks English and Spanish fluently. That comes from years of missionary work down in Peru.
Ah, okay. So that connection to Latin America is pretty significant then.
Definitely. Adds a whole different dimension. And the election itself, it was quite quick, relatively speaking.
Just 4 rounds of voting, the report said. And he was seen as a compromise candidate.
Yeah, which, often suggests, it suggests the cardinals, who come from all over with different views, managed to find someone they could agree on fairly efficiently.
Right. Maybe not everyone's first choice, but someone who could garner broad support.
Precisely. It signals a degree of consensus building within that large group.
Okay, so then he appears on the balcony. His first words, "Peace be with you all." Simple but powerful.
Very. And ITV highlights that peace and unity were really the core themes right away. He said, united hand in hand with God, let us move forward.
Setting a clear tone there. And he also made a point of thanking Pope Francis, his predecessor.
He did, specifically for building bridges between peoples. That's a nice nod, isn't it? Shows respect for what came before.
Yeah. And the report also mentioned he chose to speak in English first.
Right, which kind of underlines his role maybe as a pope for the whole world, reaching out globally from the get-go.
Okay, let's dig into that background more. Peru, 20 years there. As a missionary, a parish priest, then a bishop.
And he even got Peruvian citizenship. So the report calling him half Peruvian, it's not far off, really. That's a deep, deep connection.
Wow. You have to think that experience living and working there for so long must give him a unique perspective on the global church.
Absolutely. Understanding the realities for Catholics outside of, say, Europe or North America, it's invaluable experience.
And interestingly, ITV says he's aware of divisions specifically within the American church.
Yeah, and he apparently wants to build bridges there, too. They quoted him from a recent ceremony. Something like,
Oh, yeah, I remember this bit. He said it wasn't a coincidence Pope Francis chose him, that he's been a missionary, worked in Peru, but he is American and thinks he has insights into the U.S. church.
Exactly. That's quite self-aware, isn't it? Acknowledging that dual perspective he brings.
So the reactions then? How did this go down, particularly in the States?
Well, according to the report, pretty much astonishment and sheer joy.
Yeah.
Scenes in Catholic churches, seminaries, people erupting, screaming, jumping up and down, even chanting, USA, USA.
Wow. Okay, so a huge moment for American Catholics.
Yeah.
That sense of, one of our own.
Definitely taps into that identity. And President Trump weighed in, too.
He did. Call it a great honor for the country. Pretty standard stuff there.
Right. But the report also gives us the view from St. Peter's Square itself.
Ah, okay. What was the feeling there?
Just jubilation, celebration, lots of emotion, a real sense of new hope, a new start.
Yeah.
They quoted one pilgrim saying it was overwhelming, this being the 4th pope they'd known, and they called the new pope a kind of new hope, something to restart things, hope for the world.
That sense of renewal is always powerful in these moments, isn't it?
It really is. But the report doesn't just focus on the celebrations, it points to potential challenges, too.
Okay, like what?
Well, for one, possible friction with President Trump.
Because of past comments or...
Social media, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, Pope Leo XIV had retweeted things critical of deportation policies, expressing concern about suffering, asking how people could stay quiet.
Right. And there was that comment criticizing J.D. Vance, too, about not ranking love for others.
Exactly. So, it shows he's not afraid to speak out on social justice issues, which could lead to disagreements with political figures. That's a dynamic to watch.
Definitely. And then there are the internal church issues.
Yeah.
The report mentions the ongoing handling of priest abuse allegations.
Yeah, that's a huge painful issue. Specifically, the Cardinal McCarrick case in the U.S. is mentioned.
And it says some survivors are already raising concerns about how the new pope handled allegations back when he was in Peru.
That's right. So this incredibly difficult issue isn't going away. He faces immense pressure to address it, and these past questions add another layer. It demands transparency and, frankly, decisive action.
It's a heavy burden. But on the other hand, the report also shares what people who know him think.
Okay, what's the picture there?
Descriptions like modest man with a brilliant mind, not a showboat, very calm, but also extremely intelligent and extremely compassionate.
So perhaps a quieter, more steady style of leadership.
That's the suggestion. Someone likely to bring calm, steady, very direct kind of guidance. And there's also talk of him being a reformer, putting social justice right at the center.
Which ties back to his background, doesn't it? That Peru experience. It suggests someone who leads thoughtfully, with empathy, but also with a clear focus on justice.
So a potentially complex figure, not easily pigeonholed.
Seems that way. And ITV really underscores the sheer size of the task ahead, unifying all these different views and factions within a global church of over 1 billion people.
It's enormous. Building those bridges he talked about, both inside and outside the church.
That's likely going to be the defining challenge of his pontificate.
Okay, so just to sort of wrap up this deep dive for everyone listening, we've looked at this really historic election, Pope Leo XIV, the first American pope.
We've touched on his unique background, that bridge between North and South America, his initial messages of peace, unity.
But also the significant challenges.
Yeah.
Potential political clashes, the ongoing very serious abuse crisis, and the expectations around reform and social justice.
Right. Which leaves us and you with something to think about.
Yeah. Here we have a pope who seems to represent both unity and maybe change. How do you think his unique background, his past stances, how might that actually shape the church's future?
And its role in, let's face it, a pretty polarized world. What are the specific things we should watch for? What actions, what words might signal the real direction he plans to take? Some